Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Connor Williams and we're back with another one of our 24/7 news report videos. As always, we start these news report videos with our headline news. And the headline news for today is that Everton have made an approach for a loan bid for none other than Southampton striker Che Adams. So Everton are exploring the option to sign Che Adams on a season-long loan with an option to buy. That's come via The Athletic. We did run a poll on the Toffee Blues like we normally do. If you want to vote on the polls, go follow us down at Twitter. The link's in the description down below. Anytime we put out a big story like this, we'll put there's the first reply tweet to it will be the poll. So make sure you get voting on that. We said Che Adams on loan. Thoughts on this, Blues? So far, only 1,771 of you have voted. It updated as I was reading it. It's open for 23 hours. It literally was just after this news is very fresh off the press. When we're reporting on it here, 53.9% of you said yeah, 46.1% of you said no. I mean, what do you say? Obviously, we need strikers. We are after apparently Guirassy as well, which I'll get onto in a minute. But so we're after strikers. It's a loan deal with an option to buy. So if he's not very good, we can just send him back. I think we are sort of happen to be realistic here on the fact that we don't have millions and millions and millions to spend, and we have to be a bit realistic on the type of players we'll attract in some aspects. So I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? This. Obviously, playing at Southampton, I think he struggled a little bit, in all honesty, the last couple of years. Brozier being the main man last season, and Adam Armstrong getting ahead of him as well in recent times. Last year, he played 30 games, got 7 goals, 3 assists. Overall, in his entire Southampton career, he's played 110, scored 21. In his Birmingham career before that, 123, and he scored 38. So it's not the best goals to game ratio I've seen of a footballer. I can't lie. The season before last, he played 36 and scored 9. And the season before that, he played 30 and scored 4. Really, really poor. I voted no on this, and I'm glad I did. I don't think he's very good. I think there might be better options out there if we get past this attitude that we have to buy Premier League footballers or former Premier League footballers. I mean, I know people will probably say he's got his middle name's Everton, etc., etc. But for me, it's a no. I just don't think he's impressed me enough. And Southampton play with 2 strikers as well, so he does get game time. Like I said, he's been playing 30 odd games a season. He's better than he's better than what we've got, but I don't know. I guess it depends who honestly, guys, I'm trying to build it up because I don't want to be negative on it. And I guess it depends on if we get him on loan and we buy a proper forward. Like we buy a forward, then that's not too bad. I did say the other day, Guirassy and Batshuayi on loan, I wouldn't be, if we bought Guirassy and then we loaned Batshuayi, I wouldn't be that annoyed at that. I guess it's the same, swap Batshuayi for Che Adams. If we get him and we then buy a proper striker, then I won't be that upset over that either. It's just tough. I mean, the strikers we're looking at though, they're all the numbers. There's not a lot of numbers that impress me. Speaking of which, there is Ren forward, as I've mentioned already, Serhal Guirassy, who is getting closer to a Premier League. Talks with Everton over a loan are progressing well, and this could succeed after the arrival of Arnaud Calamundo, who Ren have signed. This has come from Benjamin Juarez of Le Parisien Sport. Guirassy as well, similar. 37 games last season, 9 goals. Before that, 27 and 10, 23 and 9, 13 and 3. So he's not exactly been great goals to game ratio. He's in 81 games, he scored 25 goals, which is, I personally don't think that's an awful lot to shout home from for a forward. But the thing I will say about him is, again, he's on loan, same as Shea Adams. So if it doesn't work out, send him back. So we can send him back to France, which is really, really good. The one thing I will say about Guirassy is that he's scored more goals than Shea Adams has for Southampton. He scored more for Rennes in less games. The thing I like about him as well is he's a target forward. Squawka did I know him from playing Football Manager because I play as Rennes on it. Really good forward, inside forward for me on it. I did sell him after the first season. He did really, really well. I think it was like 15 to 20 goals. Sold him though because I needed the money to buy somebody else. And Everton bought him on my save, coincidentally. And I obviously sold to Everton because soft spot and all. And he does all right for them. I mean, the reason I like him, though, Squawka did a bit on him. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go check it out. And he's a target forward, which is what the club seems to be trying to profile as their forwards. He's to be tall, good in the air. Basically a Calvert-Lewin like for like, or as much as you're going to get. And Guirassy fits that profile. So in that case, it makes sense, which is why I'm saying it. Shea Adams isn't a target forward. Somebody even said underneath on the comments, not tall enough for what we want him to do. I guess it's all about deciding, isn't it? Whether it's him, I mean, none of them are Haaland's. None of them have got 31 goals in 30, in 30 games, etc. It's about getting the right price as well. But if we can sign someone like him, and I guess someone else on loan, I won't be that disappointed. Speaking of which, Frank Lampard and Director of Football Kevin Felwell have identified Coventry and Sweden striker Victor Gyökeres as a potential signing for Everton. Coventry City valued the 24-year-old at 10 million. That's come from Alex C. Turk. I think I pronounced the name right of the player. Alex Turk is a writer for the Daily Express. We also have that then sort of backed up by Simon Jones, who writes for the Daily Mail, who said Everton are considering a move for the Swede, who scored 17 goals for Coventry last season. Again, going to sound like a broken record here, but I don't know. I'm good getting it up now, but I don't know if his goals to games are so hyped. He has scored already this season, though, in the Championship. He's got 1 goal, 1 game. Played 48 games and scored 19 goals. Last season, he played 45 and scored 17. Season before that, played 30 and only scored 3 goals. Again, a player that his goals to game aren't brilliant, apart from this season where he's 1-1. Been at Brighton for a little bit as well. Brighton picked him up, hoping he'd be something good, then sent him out on loan. Coventry have got him. Now we're looking. I do realise some people are going to say, you do have to be realistic. We're not exactly the Channing Tatum of football clubs at the minute. But yeah, I mean, it's one of them, isn't it, guys? The other options are Brozier and someone else who I'll get into now. But this is all a striker pack, basically. This is all about strikers because that is what we need. And I do believe we need at least 2 strikers, one main one, hopefully that we've bought, and then maybe one on loan just in case. Add some more depth. We can't just have Calvert-Lewin and some lad. And that's the other main one. We'll still have Calvert-Lewin at the club. He's just injured. So Everton are probably thinking we don't want to, go miles out because whoever it is probably going to sit behind Calvert-Lewin when he's hopefully all back up to running form. But speaking of Brozier, Mark Douglas of the I paper has said that the talks with Chelsea for Brozier is still ongoing. After he scored 6 goals in 32 league games. Again, not another brilliant goals to game ratio there. I actually think that a lot of these players that's a bit poor for strikers, in all honesty. But like I was saying, it's Brozier's another one. I guess he's one for the future. The players I've mentioned here are 26. Both Guirassy and Shea Adams are 26. They've got 6 years on Brozier, and Brozier's just about coming out with 6 goals a season at 20. I guess it's the potential with him. Another player that we're after as well, as we are just after strikers, and we do seem to be after big strikers. predominantly. I know Batshuayi isn't, but Broja, I'd say, he looks a big enough lad anyway. He fills out well. And then you've got the Stuttgart lad who's 6'6", who's just an absolute, that's a man mountain. But then we've got Ludovic Ajorku as well, who plays for Strasbourg. We apparently were scouting him. We sent scouts to Monaco versus Strasbourg. Papers have assumed it's after him. Possibly. I mean, I saw somebody say, how do you know? Because there's, 11 players on the team. How do you know which one they're scouting? But there have been rumours that we're after him, so that makes a bit more sense. Ajorku, very, very good. 36 games last season, 12 goals. The season before that, 35 games, 16. A lot better. That's in Ligue 1. And then after that, they were his last 2 recent seasons. He's played 1 game so far this season, no goals in that game. But that's a lot better. For me anyway, I think that's a lot better goals to game ratio. He's 197 centimeters, so he's part of the taller target men, which, if you don't know, centimeters is 6'4", which I think most of us would prefer it in feet, as we're UK citizens. But yeah, 6'4", that's massive. Again, he will tower. We saw with Mitrovic the other day how important it is for a striker to tower and how much of an advantage it can be. I personally would probably prefer Ajorku or Guirassy. It'd probably go Ajorku, Guirassy, Broja, Che Adams, Batshuayi, the lad from Coventry. Maybe the lad from Coventry and Batshuayi are about level, and then anybody, unless we, hit a main one. Probably that was it. I really wanted us to push for Scamacca, but I asked the West Ham's purchase, and he is good. I really like Scamacca. I think when you look at his goals to games ratio and how many goals he scores compared to his XG, he scores the harder chances, and I think he'll do well in the Premier League. I've got him in my fantasy. I think he'll do well when West Ham don't play City. But yeah, anyway, back to Everton, guys. So it seems like we are after strikers. Be very interesting to see what happens. We also have the news that's non-transfer related, that Stanley Mills has signed a new 3-year contract, keeping him at Everton to 2025. Really well in pre-season. Fans really like the lad. It's nice to see that fans have sort of took to him, and now he's getting repaid with a new contract, which is absolutely brilliant to see him. And I hope all the best for him. We need more academy players coming through and reaching into the first team, so that's brilliant to see. But don't forget to like the video, guys, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and comment down below your thoughts on any of this striker edition of the news. Which striker would you like us to go get that we're linked with? And let me know all that good stuff. Ajorku, Guirassy, Che Adams, who's the other lad? The lad from Coventry. Let me know all your thoughts on all of that. Obviously, Batshuayi was linked a couple of weeks ago. Let me know your thoughts on who you want us to go get as a strikers. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys very soon.